Yep, Kiritaki Gansai Tambei watercolors. 36 pans in this set. I really like to paint with them. They're kind of different to paint with. So I found this tutorial online of a woman who's painting a Chinese girl, and the channel is also Chinese. There is like a lot of these Chinese lettering, and I was only able to find one word that was pronounceable, and I think actually that's the name of her channel and not the name of the tutorial. So here we go. Misulbu, Misulbu. I think that's the name of the YouTuber translated from Chinese to English. I'm going to copy the link and add it into the description of this video, so in case that you want to look at her, you're able to find her. She's super talented. It's one of those tutorials where there's only music, nobody's talking, and you can't see the color palette, so you have no idea what colors they're mixing. But I kind of noticed that when she went into the cool shadow areas of her skin tone, she was mixing up this purple that's very significant, and it reminded me totally of the purple from this this I can't even pronounce it. The Gansai Tambei watercolor set. Kiritaki Gansai Tambei purple. So when I saw that purple, I just knew, sure, I should pick this palette. And then I mixed my cool tones using the cerulean blue because it gave me like a really pretty color for the cool shades of the skin tone. I'm also trying to incorporate the cerulean blue in the hair. I really like this tutorial for teaching how to do this hair, because I struggle so much with painting hair. It's one of those things that some people find it super easy, like ta-da, and then they got like nice hair painted, but I struggle. I think it's because I think too much about it. But I want hair that looks soft. I want hair strokes that are looking natural, and I also enjoy looking at paintings where you got stray hair, like thin pieces of hair blowing to the side or something, so it looks more natural. So I'm having that in mind when I'm making this portrait, that it's because I want to learn how to be better at painting hair. Now I'm fleshing her up. I'm putting in skin tone, and it looks, I mean, this portrait looks crazy for such a long time that in several time areas I was thinking, what the heck is going on? I had a sitting about 2 hours and 10 minutes. I think I had a lot of interruptions, and then I also had a drying time between two major, you could say, washes on the face. I got a very steep slant on my table easel, and it's because I wanted to start the wash all the way up in the forehead and let it run down to the neck while I'm adding in colors, so that the colors kind of mix on the paper and not being pre-mixed in the palette, if it makes any sense. And I like that approach to skin tones. It makes it more, it gives it a more beautiful blending, because I'm basically painting with the barrel of the brush, so I'm pretty like manhandling the brush work. So I often get blooms if I don't make a complete wash when I'm doing the skin tones. So to avoid getting like nasty blooms, I try to do that in 3 sessions when I'm doing this skin tone right here. I'm laying in a yellow ochre highlight on the tip of the ear, and it looks so awesome. Right now I'm looking at the finished portrait, and what I enjoy looking at the most is her delicate yellow ochre highlight. It's kind of funny because there is a ton of highlights on this face where you utilize the white of the paper. So it's kind of fun that it's the ear that's called catching all the attention when I look at it. What's fun about this tutorial for me is that the artist kind of knew what she was going for, but I had like no idea. So when I'm following along with the way that she's, I want to call it flesh up this painting, I was in doubt about that burnt sienna splotch near her eye. I was thinking, why is it so significant? But then when you put on that hair that's falling down in her face, it suddenly made sense. You needed that strong sienna to be an underpainting because you're going to top it off with a strand of hair. And that's really interesting because I don't paint like that, you know? I paint like impulsive, chronological, like one thing at a time. I very seldom plan out that I'm gonna have this and then pre-make some strokes on the canvas that will make sense way later on in the painting. So that was really cool that I got to try that today. I think I'm gonna try and think about it more in the future, where the thing about that the strand of hair is that you needed a strong burnt sienna by the eye, and then you needed a very highlight on the cheek. So it was presenting the strand of hair better. And while you're fleshing her up and you're making those things, it looks strange. I mean, it just looked like you're doing a nasty piece of work, but it kind of made sense in the end. So there was a good learning curve right there. Now I'm using burnt umber as my darkest value. Or did I use it already? I can't see. I'm looking at this tiny screen in Movie Maker. But I was actually in doubt about introducing burnt umber because I've been going with a very limited palette so far, and I was annoyed that I couldn't mix up a dark shade that I was content with by using the purple and the cerulean blue and then the red shade and the ochre. But introducing the burnt umber was a good call. I can see it now on the finished piece, because later on I'm going in with some colored pencils, and some of the colored pencils lean towards burnt umber color shade. So I was, you know, just lucky, I guess, introducing that. For the first time, I am super pleased about the nose that I have painted. I very rarely make a nose that I'm content with, but I accept it. You know, it's a learning curve, so it can't, there's so many elements in a face that you can't be super content with everything that you made in a whole face. There's so many areas that are tricky and that you struggle with. But for once, I think that when I'm looking at the finished piece, that I got a very natural nose, and I don't have that pencil line work like it's, the nose is carved out 3D by the shades. I actually think that incorporating cerulean blue in black hair gives a good effect. I mean, when you're close to the paper, it looks off. It looks like it's too vague, like it looks transparent. But this, when I look at it from a proper distance, which is like 2 or 3 meters, it looks so natural. I mean, it shouldn't be an ultramarine blue. It shouldn't be a Prussian. It should be a cerulean. So that kind of surprises me. Sometimes I think I sit too close to what I paint. I need to learn to stand up and walk away from my painting and see it from a distance, because then maybe it's because I need glasses and it just looks nicer. So, oh gosh, here I go in with my Prismacolors. I'm horrible at using Prismacolors. I got the 120 set, and I'm skating like Bambi on ice. I found it so difficult what to pick, because I was so content about using a limited palette when I used watercolors. So introducing colored pencils suddenly for me feels like a violation against the limited palette, because you so easily introduce a color that's so off, and then I have to sketch it in other places in the face to make it look like it belongs. I really need to just paint more and then finish it off with colored pencils to be better at choosing which color pencil to pick. It's really hard. So now I'm getting close to finishing off the painting. In a while, in a few seconds, I will show you a piece of paper where I spelled out the YouTuber's name. Here we go, Misulbu. Thanks for watching along with me. I hope that you get a nice weekend, and then you have time to art and be creative.